529-790-0415 or soundbytes.org. Now, alongside Steve Ray and Dave Enright, here's Nick Francesco on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. American, all chips and the PC. It is Saturday, the 18th day of June, Anno Domini 2022, and you, you lucky people, you're listening to Soundbites. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray on the other side of the mic.
And at 6 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, nothing to lose, kick off your shoes, don't get the blues. Here comes the news. Microsoft has patched a Windows vulnerability that hackers are actively exploiting. If you own a system that uses Windows 7 and up, you'll want to update your computer as soon as possible. The security flaw, called Folina by researchers, lets bad actors hijack users' computers through programs like Microsoft Word. Security researchers have been aware of the threat since late May, but Microsoft reportedly dismissed their initial findings. In an attack documented by security company Proofpoint, hackers associated with the Chinese government sent malicious Word documents to Tibetan recipients. When opened, these documents used the Folina exploit to take control of the Microsoft Support diagnostic tool to execute commands that could be used to install programs, create new user accounts, and access, delete, or change data stored on a computer. The exploit has also been used in phishing campaigns targeting Americans and European government agencies. And we're beginning to see it hit individuals as well. So don't assume just because you don't live in Tibet or Europe, you're not vulnerable to this. Microsoft's original warning about the threat offered workarounds to protect against the threat, but this update should eliminate the need for that. Microsoft strongly recommends that
New mouth.
What do they
Just
recommend?
watched it. Can't do a thing with it. I don't know. We may never know. Microsoft strongly recommends that customers install the updates to be fully protected from the vulnerability. Microsoft says customers whose systems are configured to receive automatic updates do not need to take any further action. In case you missed the reference above, there is a program in your Windows system which will let anyone who can access it do anything on your computer without your knowing it. This is the Microsoft Support Diagnostic Tool, which is what both good and bad actors use to control your computer during remote diagnostic and repair sessions. And this exploit opens it up to absolutely anybody on the internet. So update today. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you, is Microsoft patches actively exploited Windows 0 Day. Your choices are, I'm already updated, I'll update immediately, I'll get to it, relax. Going commando, baby. You're still using Windows? And other. So far, we have 24 votes in the poll. You're still using Windows is number one, followed by closely, I'm already updated. And of course, for those of you who have more to say, head on over again to our website at soundbytes.org. Scroll down on the right under Fascinating Stuff. You'll see the forum. Second forum down is the poll discussion. Currently, at least, the number one item under poll discussion is 18 June 22 Microsoft patches actively exploited Windows 0 Day. And, of course, you can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415. You know, dangerous as this is, important as it is to do these updates, I almost didn't even make this a story at all because, let's face it, yet another Windows breach? How is that news?
Yeah, it's not.
It's not, and it's...
Same old story, just a different day.
That's exactly right. So you need to be updated. You need to be aware. And again, I always get pushback. Well, I don't want to be first. Okay, then you're vulnerable. Well, nobody's interested in me. There's nobody at the other end. It's all computers. They program a computer to go find any other machine on the internet. They will find your machine as readily as anybody else's. There's no prejudice here. It's just a computer looking for more computers. And every day you don't update, you are vulnerable. And
that $5 you have in your bank account is $5 they don't have now.
That's exactly right. And you've got space on your machine that they can hide bad stuff. They can use your machine to attack other machines, distributed denial of service attacks using botnets. It happens a lot. So you need to be careful, you need to be aware, you need to be diligent about keeping your machines up to date.
Because
All right.
it's it's like the game of Russian roulette. It's not a matter if it's going to happen; it's just when.
That's exactly right.
Because they don't rest. I mean, that's the whole thing about having a computer doing it. It doesn't have to take time off to rest for a little while or anything else. It just keeps going and going and going until somebody turns that computer off or tells it to stop.
And it never gets tired. It
No.
takes a whole range of addresses.
And it will never, ever stop until you are infected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, they don't call them the Terminator for nothing.
Yeah, they just
pay 'em?
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't all of a sudden give up. Oh, this person. No, they'll try different avenues and different techniques because that's one thing that they're constantly doing, though, is trying to perfect the way that they infect or grab information from your machine. That is one constant that is always changing.
Right.
And they won't give up on that because, maybe this computer will go after this particular flaw, whereas they can have another robot because it's just a computer. And they can do it with Raspberry Pis now
Right.
and just have it go out there and get information. It's not high tech anymore, folks.
No, it really isn't. And with this remote diagnostic tool, you don't even know what's happening because it happens in the background on your machine.
And you think you're safe.
And that machine and that tool has access to everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially at the super user level.
Yeah, it's got admin,
Right.
admin rights.
Yep. Exactly.
I saw the best display at my Wegmans in Parenton the other day. On the gift card rack, they had videos running and big signs that gift cards are for gifts, not payments.
Nice.
If someone is asking you to pay for something with a gift card, they are lying.
That's exactly right. Don't do it. Don't
The
do it.
scams, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But there's a lawsuit against Apple because iTunes cards tend to be the most commonly requested. Apple makes a little money
Yes,
on
it does.
every gift card they sell. And so the lawsuit alleges that Apple is benefiting from this theft and should be penalized for it.
Well, they certainly are benefiting. As
Yeah.
to whether
Yeah,
they
but
should be
you can't-
penalized, that's what law is about.
Yeah, you can't. No, that's not going to hold water.
Yeah, so they can.
Well, it depends. Whoever has the best lawyer wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, no.
Whoever has the best lawyer wins.
So if they
just
refund,
the
so
way it
normally,
works.
normally when you buy a gift card, you can't return it because they don't know if you've used it or not.
Right.
And typically, when you buy it, you give the card number to the bad guys. They don't need the physical card; they just need the number.
Yeah.
And the money's gone. So even if Apple does return the money to you, they're out the money.
Right.
And so they don't sort of have an incentive to return it to you.
Right.
Because you could have sold, you could have spent the money and then decided that you wanted the gift card returned anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a whole
the
thing in fraud.
It's all in the who can prove what.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's a new fraud scam going around.
Oh, good.
Another one?
Because we don't have enough of them.
You're an author. This may affect you.
I am an author.
There was one of those stupid life hack videos went out about ways to save money. Buy your books on Amazon and Kindle, read them quick, and return them in the first week.
Yeah.
And there are now authors that owe Amazon hundreds of dollars because when you return a book, Amazon takes the royalties away from them. Amazon is not a library. If you want free books, go to the library. If you're going to buy a book, don't return it on Amazon unless there really is something wrong with it. But authors are running into huge problems where I saw one guy said he had 250 returns in 1 week.
Wait a minute. What can be wrong with a book? I mean, you're reading it. It's just print.
Well, if
You have the right to return it within a
Yeah.
certain amount of time because you didn't like it or whatever. You start it and you think this is junk. I don't want to read this anymore. You return it. You can do that. You can do that with
Yeah.
real books.
That's why you get a sample instead of paying for
Right.
the book.
Yeah,
or
that's
you
what
go
I
to the
thought.
library and leaf through it, or a bookstore and leaf through it. Now, you wouldn't think of doing that at a bookstore, would you?
Yes, people do.
Yeah.
Oh, I see people.
But it's so
used
much
to see
easier
'em
when you do it
camped out.
online.
Right.
Well, no, not just going to the bookstore and reading the whole book.
No,
Buying it, taking it home, and then returning it.
Yeah, no, but like Nick said, I've seen folks, at Borders bookstore back in the day, and that they'd sit there and they'll go through the first maybe 10 or 20 pages of a book to decide whether they want to purchase
Yeah,
it or
if you
not.
like it or not. That's okay.
Yeah. For a while, I worked at Worldwide News, and people would sit in the aisles and read books. Billy used to sneak up behind them and scream, "We sell these here too, you know!"
I always want to ask the person, can I come to your business and steal your products that you sell?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right.
they just don't consider it theft.
We have this thing that you may not have heard of it called a library. And you can borrow books, and it's not illegal, and it's not scamming somebody, and it's not stealing from the author. Maybe you should think about doing that once in a while.
And there's electronic books too.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can
from
go online.
the library.
You
Right.
can go
Yeah.
online if you've got a library, library
library card,
card. You can sit there and register with them. Go in and download books for free.
And even if you don't have a physical library card, you can get an electronic only one and never set foot in a library.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you want physical books, you go to the library. So I've been finishing the Expanse series.
Yep.
So the TV show ended after 6, and I'm reading 7, I think in the middle of 8 now, and then 9 is out. So I put on hold the paper book and the electronic book to see which one comes first. So far, it's been the paper book.
Yeah, usually it will be.
Yeah. And because there's a problem in the library industry that booksellers hate libraries.
Yes, they do.
So the libraries have to buy the book. So every library may only buy 1 or 2 copies. And the Monroe County Library System, among other library systems, they will transfer books from one library to another. So, the Pittsford Library has the book I want. They'll send it over to Fairport. I can pick it up. Same thing with electronic books. Even though there's no physical scarcity of an electronic book, the library only gets 2 copies to loan out.
Right.
And if they're both loaned out, you got to wait.
And they're much more popular now than physical
Yeah.
books.
Oh yeah,
And if
especially with the readers. The
Yeah, and if you do read a lot, what is it? The Amazon Kindle Unlimited,
Yeah,
$6 or $7 a month. Read every book in the Kindle store you want
right.
for that's one low price, and the
low
authors
price.
still get paid when you check it out to read it.
And that's my favorite part.
Yeah,
That is my favorite part.
you do something once and you get paid every time someone else reads it.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
It's a beautiful thing. Royalties.
I remember we had one customer who was so excited that he submitted a article to a trade publication, and they accepted it and paid him, and they said, and then I told him, hey, well, do they have exclusive rights? He said, no, I don't think so. So submit it to these 5 other trade publications. I can do that? Yeah. And you'll get paid again.
And you get paid again. That's exactly
And they
right.
don't have to do any more work? Probably not.
That's right.
Their editor might have a little different idea, but probably not.
But that's the incentive for the writers to continue writing,
Yeah.
and create other things that you enjoy reading.
That's right.
It's just like the music industry. That's sad to say, but records and vinyl and all that is going by the wayside. Everything is now up there on the internet.
Well, vinyl's making a comeback, which
Yeah,
is interesting.
vinyl is.
The richer sound of it.
Yep.
So we've raised a whole generation on crappy MP3s. And even though there are better formats available, most everything supports the better format. Most things support lossless audio now, so there is no loss in quality. You still have to listen on pretty decent headphones. But so vinyl's making a comeback for people that want that rich sound experience that we all knew it.
About 10, 15 years ago, one of the record industry, I guess, not one of the record companies, the record industry did a survey of kids at concerts. The kids at the concerts preferred the MP3 to the live event because they were used to the crappy sound and they didn't understand the harmonics, the overtones, the richer sound of the live experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
I've seen a couple of live concerts where the album was so produced they can't hope to recreate
Match
that
it, yeah.
sound. Yeah,
Right. Right.
you're singing off key. Well, they fixed that in the album.
Right. They got auto-tune.
Yeah.
All right, to the
There should
phone.
be a way to do auto-tune live. They're probably working on it.
They already have it. We can do it. Back to the phones, rather. Our first caller, Brian from Gates, New York, patiently waiting. Right, Brian?
I'm always a patient.
Yeah, you are that. What's up?
Yeah. Well, in my house, I've got so many books that I haven't read yet. I don't need to go to someplace else to find a book I haven't read yet.
You're right.
So,
Right.
so
But you still
I
keep
keep
buying more, don't
going.
you?
not really. I kind of turned that back a little bit. I did buy a new copy of Dune, so I could have something to read this summer, and I figure it'll take me at least till Christmas.
Yeah, right.
One of the things I always hated about books from movies that turn back into books is the new version of the Dune book, the movie, or a recovered old book with
Right.
the new people on the cover.
Right.
I always
right,
hated that. I buy the new book and it's the same. It's the old story. Well, I got 5 copies of that one.
Right.
Already,
I kind of
right.
wanted this story because it's a little bit different.
I want the originals. Thank you very much.
I want them both.
Right. All right. I got a Chrome box that I'm
Yep.
talking about. Right. And about a week ago, say I'd come in and I'd do something on YouTube or whatever. Sound was fine. Everything worked fine. I shut that program down and I go leave the computer on and go do something around the house and then, come back and then turn the YouTube back on. No sound. Picture's fine, no sound. All right, and I don't know what happens. So I reboot the machine. Sound comes back. About an hour or so later, the sound is gone again. Then I reboot the machine, the sound comes back. That worked for about 3 days. And now I have no sound at all. So now what?
Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, keep rebooting.
Yeah. Well, no, he says now he reboots and he still doesn't get sound.
Oh. So go back
So
in time and
now
don't
I'm
reboot that last time.
Yeah.
The first
I'm
thing,
watching the feed,
yeah,
but I'm listening to you on the phone. And I can listen to you on my dot, but I can't get the sound through the TV or through the computer.
well, there are those who would say that was a plus. But
Yeah.
what you first thing to think about is the cord. Is the cord going bad? Is something? Well, first
But
is
that would
something
be
overheating.
then it wouldn't power up.
No, the audio cord from the Chrome box to the speakers.
Yeah. What if I turn the volume up on gain up on the speakers? I get a click like when you used to have on the old radio records when you got
Yeah.
to the end of the thing, it would click, click, click. That's all I get.
Well, question for you:
Sound like
do you
that.
have a pair of headset?
Yeah.
Have you tried
Yeah.
plugging a headset into where the speakers plug into, and see if you get sound out of that?
Not yet. That's a good idea.
I mean, that would tell you whether your speakers are good or
Speakers
not.
are bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Go to the status menu and make sure you have the right audio output set.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
But yeah,
good.
first check it. The simplest would be grab a headset,
Yeah.
unplug that, put the headset in, and see if you hear out of that. Because you'll definitely, it's not whether you got to
Yeah, well-
bury your ear up to it.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
I would start with those things. First would be the headphones.
Swap out, right?
Yeah. And then yeah, if you've got another device you can plug the speakers into, a television,
that way.
anything, check to see that the speakers aren't overheating. Is it going into
that's-
speakers or your TV? I don't remember.
Going to speakers.
Yeah, check to see that those are not having a problem. But that it's probably not those because you're only rebooting the Chrome box,
Yeah.
not the speakers.
Right.
But I would try that first. The other thing is, what have you added recently?
And they're not muted, are they? By
No,
accident,
no.
the speaker volume
Yeah,
is
I will-
turned up all the way.
It's turned up, and I made sure they weren't muted this morning, and
Right.
because I figured that would be one of the questions.
Right. So the question is, what have you added to Chrome lately?
I tried to add PayPal, but that was yesterday before all this was happening.
Right.
You know,
Well, but that's
all
the
this
point.
was
It's
happening
something that you added that has had some sort of effect. Like if you added the Zoom app and it's periodically, I'm just using an example, and it's periodically trying to take over the camera and the microphone and the speakers. So look through your stuff and think about what you might have added that might have an effect on the speakers.
The only other thing was that we had a power surge in the neighborhood, real quick one. A couple seconds, and then about a 5-minute blackout, and then everything came back up. But this runs through an uninterruptible with a battery
Backup
automatically.
Yeah, but are the speakers plugged into it?
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah,
Right.
I know they are.
Okay. Anyway, try those things and see what happens and let us know.
I can do that.
Do that.
Who knows? I may even talk to you before 2 o'clock.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks
All
a
right.
lot, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, some things are just
Trial and error. If this doesn't work, try replacing one of the pieces.
right.
So try different speakers on the box. Try different. Try those speakers on a different box.
That's the
Different
big
headset
difference.
on the box. Yeah.
Right. It's a big difference between you and a repair shop, whether it's cars or
Yep.
computers or whatever. They have parts
Mm-hmm.
that
Swap
you
'em
probably don't, and tools that you probably don't.
Yeah.
So that you can swap them out. We were talking about the repair kit, although it's much bigger than a kit for the Apple iPhone.
2 big Pelican cases.
Right. And how, you've got all those tools already. So when someone brings their phone into your shop, you can fix it. Not instantly, but in rotation at least, without having to wait.
Big problem now is parts constraint. We've got a dozen computers waiting for parts.
Yeah, I bet. It's
It's a problem all over the
Yep.
all over the
everything.
world. I mean,
You try to tell someone we can't get the part yet, so your computer's not getting fixed yet. If it's a simple problem, it seems to be mostly batteries.
right.
So you can use your computer plugged in, but we've got a couple people waiting for a display, so they can't use their computer because the display doesn't work.
Right.
again, anything that has any chips
Yep.
that are involved in making of it, that particular part, you're going to wait a while.
You're gonna wait. It's a
It's just the times we're in
Yeah.
nowadays. I mean, they just there's a chip shortage all over the world, and if you don't believe that, go up and down the street and look at your car dealerships. Most of them are so barren now and trying to find new cars and that because just can't get them in. I mean, it's just the way life is going right
and
now.
they're all waiting for computer chips.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've read that some of the car companies are shipping the cars as is if it's a minor thing they don't have, like the seat heater.
Right. Yeah, I don't need a seat heater.
My seat's hot enough.
My seat's hot enough. Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly.
My wife's out of time.
We're out of time. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break, but do not go too far because we will be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and with you. It is 29 minutes after the hour. You're listening to the longest running computer show in the known universe. I bet that's Soundbites right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. See you in a few.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brad Siegel. President Biden falling off his bike while riding near his vacation home in Delaware today. The Secret Service quickly swarmed the president, who told onlookers he was good and he was looking forward to spending the rest of the day with his family. The president said he had trouble taking his biking shoes out of the pedals when he stopped to greet some well-wishers. The Federal Reserve's approach to fighting inflation will be unconditional. Lisa Taylor reports.
That's according to the central bank's annual report on monetary policy. It comes ahead of testimony before Congress next week by Chairman Jerome Powell. The Fed has already made moves to fight inflation, which included raising interest rates by 75 basis points this week. The rate hike was the largest since 1994. I'm Lisa Taylor.
A Philadelphia firefighter has died after being trapped in the rubble of a collapsed building. Local news reports say a building in the Fair Hill neighborhood caught fire around 3 this morning. As firefighters were putting out hot spots, the building collapsed on them. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
Money can't buy happiness, but can bacteria? This is Sandra Tsinglow with the Lowdown on Science. Bacteria that live in our guts help us digest food. However, these little microbes do more than that. Recent studies show that the bacteria living in our bellies can influence overall physical health. Miria Vyas-Kolomer from the Riga Institute for Medical Research has the scoop on poop. Her team collected stool samples from over 1,000 people. The subjects also provided information about their mental health. About 170 of them had previously been diagnosed with depression. Using DNA sequencing techniques, the researchers cataloged all the microbes present in everyone's specimens. They compared their findings between the diagnosed depressed and non-depressed individuals. And turns out that 2 types of bacteria were totally absent from the people with depression. The researchers think that exploring how these microbes relate to brain function could lead to new depression therapies. More studies are needed, but this discovery is a promising step. So your poo could predict your tood. Who knew, dude?
The Lowdown on Science is produced by LDOS Media Lab in partnership with the University of California Irvine Science Communication and 89.3 KPCC, and made possible with the generous support of the Fuse Family Foundation.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
The newly renovated Jazz 90.1 gift shop is open with new and familiar items for you to enjoy and to show for your favorite community jazz station. The shop is easy to find and easy to use. You can purchase Jazz 90.1 baseball caps, coffee mugs, shopping bags, t-shirts, and more. Browse the new Jazz 90.1 gift shop at jazz901.org and click on Support Jazz 90.1.
The COVID-19 pandemic has taken a toll on all of us. But for those who have a history of adverse childhood experiences, this may be a particularly difficult time.
Adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, are traumatic events that happen to us as children, yet can impact us for a lifetime.
And I want you to know there are some resources that can help. Visit numberstory.org for tips on helping yourself and your children.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Maybe you're not sure how you'll make rent, or you lost your job. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light. Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need.
211, how can I help you?
Call or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected. Get help. A message from United Way and the Ad Council.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
Clouds will give way to some partial sunshine for today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes. A cool start to the weekend. The normal high is in the upper 70s. I'm projecting high temperatures today only in the mid-60s with a busy northwesterly breeze, which will effectively make it feel a lot cooler. Tonight brings a mainly clear sky, the overnight low temperature in the low 50s. For the holiday tomorrow, we'll look for a good supply of sunshine from hilltop to lakeshore. Goldilocks weather, not too hot, not too cold, just right, the high in the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got clear skies, 6 degrees out at the airport and 65 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is Matt Shackelford. Join me or Rick Petrie on alternating Tuesdays from 9 to midnight on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 35 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites, and we have Carl on the line. Where are you calling from, Carl?
Calling from Penfield.
Penfield, what's up?
Hey, listen, I was looking through my information or menu or what have you on Firefox, and I found out where all my passwords are hidden or stored, right?
Yep.
So, listening to your message earlier about getting updates and people getting into your computers and such, should I not have my passwords literally stored in Firefox?
Well, all the
Is that a bad
browsers,
idea?
all the browsers have a password store for your websites to make it convenient to you. Those should be saved under your computer password. So you want to make sure you have a good computer password. Now, Firefox, Apple, and Google both let you sync your passwords with your other devices, which is handy if you have, phone, tablet, computer, desktop, laptop, things like that. So your email address that you're using has to have a good password too, because you don't want, if someone breaks into your Google account, they get all of your Google passwords too.
And that's why we recommend a password manager, so you can create very complex.
Well, yeah, but Firefox and Chrome will both create passwords for you too. But the master password is your computer password. So if someone walks up to your computer, you want to make sure that you have a screen lock password on so that they can't get in and see your passwords.
But do they store? They don't store it up on the cloud, though, do they?
They can. Both Firefox, Apple, and Google can sync.
Well, I know Google does because I throw mine up onto my Google Drive.
They sync through their own cloud services to your other Firefox, Chrome.
I don't
and
use
Safari.
Firefox.
The thing you'll be interested in, Carl, is that Firefox does, in fact, encrypt your passwords.
Yep.
Okay.
They're decrypted on your machine when you look at them, but if you store them in the cloud or you just keep them on your computer, they are encrypted there.
And they're encrypted with your computer password, right? Or your your Mozilla password.
Well, with your Mozilla password,
Yeah.
When you log into Firefox or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep the password on your computer good and secure, and the Firefox knows it's me when I'm logging in, right?
Right.
And how about Trello? I've got a card on Trello where I've also stored passwords just in case I need to get them from another machine. Is that okay too, as long as I've got a really strong Trello password?
And you have to trust that Trello doesn't lose them.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's not such a good idea.
Same as Google and Firefox and Apple. That if they store your passwords, you want them to be encrypted when they're stored.
That's the key.
That way, if it does get lost, they can't be decrypted without your password.
Okay, all right. So if someone gets into my Trello, they can see all my stuff on there.
Right. So you need to have
if they break that password.
Right. You need to have a good Trello password. So there's a theme here. You need to have a good password on everything.
Right.
A unique password on every service, a long password on every service. Doesn't necessarily need to be complicated, but it should be long. 3 or 4 words linked together with a number or 2 in the middle. That makes a good long password. That's
Upper
hard
and
to
lower
break.
case.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Symbols and numbers.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to be arbitrary. But all the password managers will generate random arbitrary passwords for you that you have no hope of remembering. So the joke, of course, is even with a gun to your head, you couldn't give them the password.
That's exactly right. I set my password length in my password manager to 64 characters. There is no way I'm going to remember any of those passwords, but I don't have to because they're on my laptop, my desktop, my phone, my tablet, my watch, every place.
Okay, perfect.
So make them long, make them complex, and you win.
Yeah,
right,
but
that
see,
sounds perfect.
That's where, like we were saying, we recommend using a password manager. It not only remembers, the passwords for within, say, your Firefox, things,
websites,
but any other websites that you go to that need different information, or other things that you might need, say for other programs, say you're using QuickBooks or some other product that requires passwords and trying to remember all those different passwords.
Yeah.
It'll keep track of all those for you because you can, or identifications or other personal information, you can lock them safely in case you have to refer back to them with those type of programs.
Yeah, Apple's keychain works like that too. It can remember program passwords. You can have secure notes built in, and then you can use something like NPass or 1Password to have a separate password manager for all of your devices as well.
Yep.
Okie doke.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. First time listener, first time caller, by the way.
Thank you. We don't pop champagne corks here, but thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Tell a friend.
Take care. Bye.
There was a bell around here somewhere.
Yeah, we do. We have a bell somewhere. I don't know where it is. Be aware that most programs these days do encrypt your password, but your encryption is only as good as your password.
Mm-hmm.
The password that you use to unlock those things is the key with which it's encrypted. So if your password is A, they're going to break your encryption in about a millisecond.
Yep.
So
Or password, or if it's some public information about you, it's your birthday. Well, that's easy to look up.
Right.
And so if there's a targeted attack, they can find you.
Right. And so think of how easy it is for a computer to try every day of the year.
Yep.
Well, the other thing we tell folks is, when they ask you, a lot of sites will ask you for a question, put in a question that only you will know the answer for. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, I hate to break this to you, but if they ask you, say, for a particular color, you can say Ford, Chevy. It doesn't care.
Right.
You just
Lie
have to remember.
to it.
And the way you remember is every password manager has a notes field. And you put the question and your fake answer in the note field.
I
and
list
then when
them
you go
all,
back, Yep, that's the way it works. And that way, they can't guess what's your favorite color. They'll try red, blue, green. They'll try them all.
Iridescent puce.
Iridescent puce is still a color.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But if your favorite color is desk, the likelihood that they will guess that is very, very slim.
Not going to happen.
Right. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Ed from Henrietta, New York. What's up, Ed?
Yeah, hi. I got on Yahoo, I've got the two-factor identification, which works really good, really fast. So I've been, Google has been bugging me on my phone to do it for that also. So I said, okay, fine, tried it. And when I sign in, it'll send me a tone, or, the phone will give you that notification sound. And I look on the notification page, there's nothing. So I go to my, maybe they sent it to the backup phone, nothing. And I went to the email for Gmail, nothing. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. So I got on their page to take a look at what's going. And there's about 15 or 20 people before me asked the same question. Why am I not getting prompts from Google? So that's my question to you guys. Is there anything that you might suggest? Because, see, the irony is they'll tell you in there, and it makes sense. They'd rather send you a prompt rather than a code, because of the code, the bad guys can get that and get into your, et cetera. So it makes sense for the prompt. But I don't know, what's going on with Google.
There's two things it could be. Sorry. There's kind of two things that could be happening. One is that they're sending it to a Google device you don't have anymore. So when Google says it's going to send you the prompt, it tells you where it's going to send it to which Gmail address it's going to send it to a phone number ending in XX, to your Galaxy S20 phone. So it's telling you exactly what device it's sending it to. If you don't have that device anymore, you can't get it.
No, I understand. But would they send that to? Would they tell you that before they send it or after they send it, or
when they send it? We just sent a code to your Galaxy S20. Open the Google app on that phone and enter it in.
But if he's using the authenticator,
I'm not getting that.
Yeah, if he's using the authenticator, that's not what he's going to see.
All right, we'll back up half a step. Are you using the Google Authenticator app, or are you using the Google two-factor authentication?
Two-factor.
Okay.
Because that's what and it makes sense. I'd rather
so they
do
don't.
that
Yeah, so they're not using Authenticator. Yeah. So the other thing the one thing you want to do is log into your Google account. And there is a recovery section. Let me see if I can find a link to it.
Right. Yep, I did that. Yep.
Which lists all the recovery email addresses they have on file, all of the phones they know about, all the devices they know about, all your phone numbers they know about. Make sure those are all correct.
Oh, yeah, no, they are. You see, that I even went into the backup phone, and it wasn't there. So
you have to go to the phone it told you to go to. And
No. See, the irony, the only option is when you do that, I did that twice, and then at the bottom of the page it says use a different way. So I said, okay, do that. And that's when they sent me the code, which they didn't want to do, and that worked. But the prompt itself, I just don't know where they go, because the phone makes it sound like it got a prompt. And you look and nothing there on your notification page.
You need to go back to that first screen. It may not be a text notification. It may be telling you to open the Google app, or it may be telling you to open the YouTube app. So you have to read exactly where they sent the code when they send the code. And sometimes it just takes 10 minutes to come through.
Right. But if he's getting a notification, it's gotten to his phone somewhere.
Right.
And when you get that notification, does it let you in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I go right in, and there's nothing there. It's just my old messages from yesterday or whatever.
Then you're going into the wrong place.
Right. Okay, hold on a second. When I say, does it let you in, I'm asking about the website that you were trying to get into that has two-factor authentication set up.
Oh, no. And I have to get, the only option is if it's not on, if I don't see the yes or no anywhere, I'm not getting it. So I do it twice, and then my only other option is to go to the last, send it a different way, and that's when they'll send it to the message. Then I get the message.
Right. So before they do that, you have to look at what device and what application they're sending the message to.
See, I don't know. They don't tell me.
Yes, they do. On the screen that says they're sending a message, it says what device they're sending it to and what app to use to open it.
Right. So, for example, often I will see text notifications sent to ... last four phone numbers.
Right. Sometimes I'll see open the Google app on your iPhone 7, and that's where the notification is.
Right.
Right. See, that's what I don't. I understand I'm just used to Yahoo because you'll get the beep and you'll look and it's right on the notification. But yes or no, hit yes, bang, you're in.
Right.
This one I can't find that same type of a message from Google anywhere when they send it. I hear the phone twitch. But then I look at this phone, nothing, and the message, nothing.
So if you open the
backup phone,
if you open the Google Authenticator, do you see a notification then?
No.
How about the Google app or the YouTube app?
No.
So
all that stuff I've done, that's why I'm scratching my head.
You have to look to see which device it sent it to.
All right. What you probably should do at this point, just to be on the clean side, is get into that system and turn off two-factor authentication and delete all that information and then go in and do it again and see what happens.
Okay, I'll try that. Yeah.
That's about the only thing I can suggest. Somewhere there's a glitch, and hopefully deleting everything and redoing it will bring it back.
Yeah, because right, at least I thought it was me and because I just got a Chromebook. And allied with that, I just want to ask another quick question. If you change a password on one, if you're synced, right, and if you change a password, say, for example, on your phone, does that automatically change the password on the other devices that are synced, or do you have to go into those and redo the same thing over again with your phone?
If they are synced, you don't have to redo it. Now, it may take a few minutes to sync up. Almost none of this stuff is instantaneous.
Yeah.
But it should sync up within a couple minutes.
I'd say give it a good 5 to 10 minutes just to be safe. Because
okay.
Just because of traffic and everything else, you never know, depending on your service and how your connection is, and then getting up there in the cloud and how busy they are.
Yeah, that's sometimes why the code isn't coming through yet. Is just Google happens to be really busy at the moment.
Yeah.
So the code that times out in 10 minutes will show up in 20 minutes, and then it's timed out, and you got to start over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, all right. I got you. Thanks a lot. Okay.
All right, thanks.
I ran into a problem once where I had set up what's that Android emulator for Windows? I'd set that up to do something, and now Google thought I had a Galaxy Note phone because that's what it emulates.
Right.
So I tried to log in somewhere, and it says, "Please open your Galaxy Note phone and type OK." What Galaxy Note? Oh crap! That's at home. I can't use that.
Right.
And I probably deleted that emulator when I was finished with what I needed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was still on my account. So
you still remember.
You can go into your account and remove devices you no longer need.
Yep.
In fact, I've had to do that because it came up and said you're full of devices. It's done.
Oh, really?
That's your list.
There's a device limit?
Yeah. Well, at the time I had a lot of things in that list. But you delete the ones that are dead and gone. You think, what the heck? I can just leave it there. No,
no.
You really shouldn't, because it
Do
doesn't
proper
exist anymore.
housekeeping.
Exactly right. All right, let's read another news item. Firefox is one of two major browsers left with a non-Chromium engine, the other being Apple's Safari, which means it can experiment with lower-level changes that Google isn't interested in. Now one of those changes is rolling out to everyone, Total Cookie Protection. Total Cookie Protection, also known by its technical name, state partitioning, is a feature in Firefox that isolates data from each website so cross-site tracking is more difficult, if not impossible. Even though the name might imply it's only for cookies, the feature also isolates local storage, service workers, and other common ways for sites to store data. Total Cookie Protection might sound familiar because it's been slowly rolling out over the course of the past year. It was first enabled in Firefox's strict mode privacy option starting in Firefox 86 last year. Mozilla later enabled it for all private browsing tabs with the release of Firefox 89, and now it's enabled by default in normal browsing tabs too. Total Cookie Protection also rolled out to the Firefox Focus browser on Android earlier this year. Microsoft said in a blog post this approach strikes the balance between eliminating the worst privacy properties of third-party cookies, in particular the ability to track you, and allowing those cookies to fulfill their less invasive use cases, e.g. provide accurate analytics. With Total Cookie Protection in Firefox, people can enjoy better privacy and have the great browsing experience they've come to expect. Total Cookie Protection is rolling out to all Firefox installations worldwide on Windows and Mac. Linux support is presumably also included, but Mozilla didn't mention that specifically. The mobile Firefox browsers aren't included for now, and due to Apple's restrictions on third-party browsers, the feature won't likely ever be available for Firefox on iPhone and iPad. So will you be moving to Firefox now? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415. It's a pretty clever idea. It's been around for a while. Microsoft. Hi, how are you? Google's never going to do it because they make their money from selling advertising data. But what Mozilla is saying is that anything you do in this browser window is limited to this browser window. And any thing that your website, for example, Firefox has something called a universal cookie. That means it's active no matter what website you go to. And any of those things will be blocked now. Now, that's not to say that that everything is blocked from something like Firefox. Firefox also has little applets that they put on other websites that will track you. And those will remain active because they're actually on that other website. So you can understand that will be different. But in terms of actually just having that cross-platform experience, that pretty much goes away. So you can be a little more secure using your Firefox browser.
And many of the browsers, I think Firefox is one of the first ones, they've started sandboxing your cookies.
Right.
So that one website can't see the cookies that another website sets, even though they're not supposed to be able to. When it's the same cookie vendor, usually an advertiser, they can see what other websites you went to because they're the first party that set that cookie.
Right.
So by trying to sandbox your cookies, getting sand on the cookies makes them not work well.
Right. Makes them less tasty all the way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, this doesn't prevent Firefox. Firefox does not prevent Facebook from tracking you at all. It just makes it harder and less likely to happen without the consent of the website that you're going to. Don't forget, pretty much every company on the planet makes their money selling your data to somebody. So they're going to do their best to keep that happening. So be aware that still goes on.
Back to passwords for a minute, we should probably mention that Google is part of the FIDO alliance that are
Right.
trying to work up new stuff. And along with Apple and Microsoft and other vendors, they have set up a new system called Passkeys, where it stores a key in an app so that you don't have to remember it. You can't remember it. It's a 256-bit key. Well, actually, the 256-bit key encrypts the 4096-bit password. So it's impossible for you to remember. But it's part of the feature is auto generation. It's generated with QR codes that your phone can scan. So typically, you use a phone that runs an app to store your passkeys, but it can also be stored in apps on your computers as well. And because it's using public key encryption, the website you log into gets your public key, which by definition is public, so it doesn't matter if it loses it. Right now, when you create a password with a company, if that company loses your password is lost, and the bad guys now know your password. That's why you have to have different passwords for every single website. So this new passkey system with the FIDO Alliance is supposed to be the replacement for passwords, and if it can catch on, it's very, very reminiscent of the way Squirrel works, even using the same elliptic curve in their encryption. And so hopefully that will catch on. It makes it easier for users because you don't have to generate a password. Every time we're setting up a computer with someone or we need to log into their Microsoft account to download their Office. What's your password? I don't know. I don't have an Office account. So then we say create a new account. And Microsoft says, account already exists. Okay, now we need your password. I don't have a password. Yes, you did. So by not needing to remember passwords and just having QR codes in a digital wallet is going to help quite a bit.
Well, that happens a lot, though, because they do it one time, and that was, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and now they just are used to clicking on it, and it goes in.
Yep.
And then they sit there.
And
That's
again,
why
it's
they
that
give
impatience. It takes 10 seconds to write down that password, and they don't take that 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And now you're on a new computer, and it doesn't know any of your old passwords yet.
Right.
Because you haven't put in the password for your password manager.
Yeah.
Right.
And we should say your primary password.
Right. Right, and that's the thing about stuff like any password manager, NPass, OnePass, LastPass. You only have to remember one password, but you do have to remember that password.
Yeah,
right.
There's nowhere you can put that one. So that's the password you have to remember. And again, the more complex it is, the more protected your data are because it uses that password to encrypt your data.
And that can then, just by remembering that one password, that can then set up all your other passwords, like you were saying. They can be 64 characters or whatever you want as far as length, as long as they'll accept it, that nobody in this world is ever going to crack.
Right. And it isn't difficult. It isn't even time consuming. So all you have to do is set it up once, learn to use it a little bit because it's very easy, and then have the discipline to every time you create a password, every time you want to create a password, use that to do it. All right, that music tells us you've wasted an entire hour of your life with this nonsense, but do not despair. There's another hour, yes, another entire hour of the longest running computer show in the known universe coming your way right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. That will be the world-famous, the universally famous Sound Bytes. We will be back with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and with you. It is 59 minutes after the hour. We are Sound Bytes. Take a quick bio break, grab yourself a beverage of your choice, and we'll be back with a whole lot more Sound Bytes in just a few minutes. See you on the other side.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbytes.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District and official media partner of this year's CGI Rochester International Jazz Festival, Jazz 90.1.
On Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brad Siegel. President Biden fell off his bike while riding near his vacation home in Delaware today. The Secret Service quickly swarmed the president, who told onlookers he was good and he was looking forward to spending the rest of the day with his family. The president said he had trouble taking his biking shoes out of the pedals when he stopped to greet some well-wishers. A CDC panel is expected to quickly sign off on COVID-19 shots for kids under 5. The panel is meeting this weekend to review the FDA's approval of both the Pfizer and Moderna shots for very young children. That would make the vaccines available for about 18 million children within a matter of days. President Biden hailed the FDA's decision as a huge relief for American families. A Philadelphia firefighter has died after being trapped in the rubble of a collapsed building. Local news reports say a building in the Fairhill neighborhood caught fire around 3 this morning. It was put under control, but firefighters who remained to put out hot spots were there when the building collapsed. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
These days, it's easy to have information overload. Sometimes I just want to kick back, hear my favorite music and the news that affects me. That's why I stay tuned into my local radio station. When important news happens in my part of town, I hear it from them first. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
If your business is now open and you'd like to tell the world, let Jazz 90.1 be of service. Underwriting at Jazz 90.1 is very reasonable and lets you communicate with 25,000 listeners a week who you are, what you do, where you're located, and how to contact you. Simple, clear, and straightforward underwriting messages are easy to remember too. For more information about underwriting at Jazz 90.1, call 966-2660. That's 966-2660.
This program is presented by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Obesity is a major public health problem in the U.S. Nearly 1 in 5 young people between the ages of 2 and 19 has obesity. Unfortunately, children with obesity are likely to become adults who struggle with their weight. Obesity in adults is associated with heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Children with obesity are more likely to suffer from depression and low self-esteem. Developing healthy habits early in life can help prevent obesity. Eat a diet high in fruits and vegetables, drink water instead of sweetened beverages, and get regular physical activity. These are the most effective ways for children and parents to maintain a healthy weight. Thank you for joining us on A Minute of Health with CDC.
For the most accurate health information, visit cdc.gov or call 1-800-CDC-INFO.
I'm Eunji, a single mom. I work 2 jobs, so time's tight. When it comes to feeding my family, I focus on small changes I can control, like chopping veggies in advance and adding them to my kids' lunches. It helps free up my morning so I can get in a walk before work. Time's tight, but I plan right. Visit snapedny.org to learn more.
SNAP-Ed is funded by USDA Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
I'm Jennifer, a retired veteran. Money's tight, but I shop right by planning my meals ahead of time. When making a shopping list, I check for ingredients I already have along with their expiration dates. I save money by buying only what I need and sticking to my list. Learn how you can shop right when money's tight. Visit snapedny.org. Save time, save money, eat healthy.
SNAP-Ed is funded by USDA Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
Are you thinking of adding a pet to your family? Greece Residents Assisting Stray Pets, or GRASP, is committed to reducing the number of homeless pets by placing dogs and cats into compatible, loving, permanent homes. For more information on how you can give a homeless pet a second chance through adoption, visit graspinc.org. GRASP, striving for the day when every dog and cat will live in a loving, safe, and healthy home.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Soundbites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 5 minutes after the hour, you're hurtling headlong into the second hour of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. That's Sound Bytes, right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415. And I will read the news while you make that call. I love this one. A tracking tool installed on many hospitals' websites has been collecting patients' sensitive health information, including details about their medical records, prescriptions, and doctor's appointments, and sending it to Facebook.
Oh, gee. A medical device?
Yeah. Medical websites.
No, yeah.
The Markup, there's a company called Markup, and they're an investigative site. And the Markup investigation site tested the websites of Newsweek's top 100 hospitals in America. On 33 of them, they found the tracker called the Meta Pixel, sending Facebook a packet of data whenever a person clicked a button to schedule a doctor's appointment. The data are connected to an IP address, creating an intimate receipt of the appointment request for Facebook. On the website of University Hospitals Cleveland Medical Center, for example, clicking the Schedule Online button on a doctor's page prompts the Metapixel to send Facebook the text of the button, the doctor's name, and the search term markup used to find this tester, pregnancy termination. Clicking the Schedule Online Now button for a doctor on the website of Froedtert Hospital in Wisconsin prompted Megapixel to send Facebook the text of the button, the doctor's name, and the condition markup selected from a drop-down menu, Alzheimer's. The markup also found the Metapixel installed inside the password-protected patient portals of 7 health systems. The data sent to the hospitals included the names of patients' medications, descriptions of their allergic reactions, and details of their upcoming doctor's appointments. Former regulators, health data security experts, and privacy advocates who reviewed the markup's findings said the hospitals in question may have violated the Federal Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, also known as HIPAA. The law prohibits covered entities like hospitals from sharing personally identifiable health information with third parties like Facebook, except when an individual has expressly consented in advance or under certain contracts. Neither the hospitals nor Meta said they had such contracts in place, and the markup found no evidence that the hospitals or Meta were otherwise obtaining patients' express consent. The 33 hospitals the markup found sending patient appointment schedules to Facebook collectively reported more than 26 million patient admissions and outpatient visits in 2020, according to the most recent data available from the American Hospital Association. Their investigation was limited to just over 100 hospitals. The data sharing likely affects many more patients and institutions than were identified. The evil genius of Facebook's system is they create this little piece of code that does the snooping for them, and then they just put it out into the universe, and Facebook can try to claim plausible deniability, said Alan Butler, executive director of the Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC. The fact that this is out there in the wild on the websites of hospitals is evidence of how broken the rules are. You can find the list of hospitals at themarkup.org. It's currently the #1 story. So, might it be time to ask your hospital some pointed questions? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415. This is the most possibly the most egregious thing Facebook has done yet.
Well, think about it, though. Yeah. What's the first thing, when you call up your doctor's office and you say who you are, what's the first question they usually ask you? What's your date of birth?
Yep.
Boom! Once they have that, along with your name, they can look up the address, and they know that your date of birth, boom, they're golden.
Right.
Well, my guess... completely guess here is the hospitals didn't know. This is some tool that is common across website designs.
Some hole
for medical services, and they may not even know. The web designers may not even know that this is buried in there.
The problem remains
It's happening.
that it's a HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
And whether the hospital knew or not, they are liable.
Yep.
And once this information becomes more public, there are going to be a lot of lawsuits.
Well, that's the thing. We have gone so far, before. Now, because of the way people travel and everything else, all your information is up there on the web. So whether if you live here in Rochester and you go out and visit Aunt Matilda out in Arizona, and you have to go to a hospital there, they can pull up your records.
Right.
And know your history and everything else, and look at even x-rays or any medical information, because we've become a society of that. And there's so much attention on putting everything up there. They've got to do a better job of locking that stuff down.
Right. The thing is, in that hospital in Arizona, they will ask you if they can access your records. And you give them explicit permission. In fact, you
Make
probably sign something.
Sign all these documents.
Yeah.
Right. And so they can do that. I never signed anything for Meta.
Nope.
Yep.
I went for a basic physical checkup this week. Does Meta know that? Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Meta's Facebook's parent company. The difference between them is it's really a distinction without a difference.
Yeah.
So, I never said Facebook could get access to my numbers, my test results. I never said that, but I'll bet they have them.
Oh, yeah. I just had to go to my cardiologist for an appointment there. And, just a routine
Dave
checkup.
does have a heart, by the way.
Yeah.
I know that's hard for you to believe.
Barely. He keeps saying that I'm going to be around kicking her for at least a couple more years to tick people off.
Yeah, well.
You're going to start getting ads for things your doctor told you to do.
Right.
Cut down on your coffee.
No doctor has ever said that. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Well, I wound up going, and he wound up taking out one medicine. And it's like,
nice.
Okay,
Don't need that one anymore.
I'll
that
take
one.
fewer medicines. That's okay.
If I can cut one out, he goes, because of the different changes I've made in my eating habits and everything else.
The list of hospitals on their website is not alphabetical.
Yeah.
I'm going
All
through
the yeses are first.
Yeah.
So whether if it was found there, it's a yes.
I don't see any hospitals in Rochester yet, but
Well, Rochester is on the list of top 100 hospitals. Strong is on the list of top 100 hospitals, but it isn't in that list there.
Yeah, they don't.
Steve's going to print that list, not the list, but the
That's
link
just-
to the list, post it on our website.
That's just amazing, though, how, I've mentioned this to a few other folks, how we used to be, a big manufacturing company, or city, Xerox, Bausch and Lomb, Kodak, and everything else. And now we've gone totally medical.
Right.
The number of facilities that they keep popping up and putting up that are medical buildings for both dialysis or CAT scans or this or that. Before, I can remember back in the day, if you had to make an appointment, it was usually weeks or months out. Now it's like, do you want it this week, or is the weekend better?
It's an aging population, and it's for-profit medicine.
Right.
All these urgent care clinics that pop up might be affiliated with a certain hospital, but they're probably independent and send your data somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I coincidentally had 2 medical problems in different years, both in July. I had my gallbladder out once, so I'm the second time I went in July. He's showing me the X-rays, and okay, here's your gallbladder. No, wait, no, wrong year, because I don't have that anymore. Oh, you're right. So it was the same month.
Yeah. Yep.
So don't get sick in the same month, or your records get confused.
Yeah, they get confused.
The year was documented there, but stopped when it said July.
Yep. Yeah.
So I guess I'm due next month, right?
Yeah, exactly. So but look, it's entirely understandable that these companies want to make money. Facebook wants to make money. That's their entire purpose. But Mark Zuckerberg's not rich enough, so he needs to make more money. But violating HIPAA regulations, probably not the best way to do it. Certainly not the most decent way to do it. And again, if I were, a hospital administrator, I'd be very worried about lawsuits.
But yeah, the potential lawsuits.
Because it doesn't matter, it's some programmer who used a tool that had it in it. I don't care what the reason is. The hospital is responsible for that HIPAA violation, and they need to deal with the fallout of that. It's going to be huge.
Well, I know a friend of mine, he does a lot of programming in that for hospitals. And he goes, he was telling us, how you always hear, they do a revision. And he has said that, no, before they can even put it online, the number of steps in that they have to go through to verify that it's not going to affect this or that, the laundry list, he goes, is sometimes can take longer than it did to write whatever they wanted to quick change. He goes, yeah, it's a simple change. But to implement the change, they got to go through a lot of hoops because of HIPAA.
Yeah, but if this thing is embedded in a tool they're using...
Oh, yeah, forget it. That opens up that
door. You can
door.
vet the tool all you want, but if this thing's embedded in it, it's done.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the responsibility of the hospital. The hospital is liable.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see, I hope not, but it's likely that we will start seeing an awful lot of lawsuits. As people...
Well, there's so much personal information buried in there.
Right.
I mean, they have your social security numbers. They have everything about you, even childhood history, or previous heart attacks or illnesses or this or that, medications that you're on going back to when you first started to see them. There is tons of information, more than you give to your bank, that they would know about you, that they could create another identity, and make it look like you and go wild with your credit rating and everything else.
That's exactly right.
There's the Facebook shadow identity issue, where even if you don't have an account on Facebook yourself, you exist on Facebook because of all your friends that have an account on Facebook.
Right.
And all the web browsing you do. Pretty much every website has a Facebook like button on it. So Facebook knows you went there. They'll know if you click the like, which you probably wouldn't.
You don't have to click the like for Facebook to know you went there, by the way.
Just by going to the web page, they know you've gone there. But if you do click the like, they know you clicked the like.
Right.
So, no one is not on Facebook. Everyone is on Facebook in one way or another.
Right. And that's a thing you just have to be aware of.
A little disconcerting.
Right. Holy moly. Sorry, I'm just fumble-fingered today, and I keep deleting my lists.
You ever go somewhere really weird by misspelling what you intended to go to?
Oh, please. Please.
And that's even with Google Spell Checker. Did you really mean? Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Back to the phones. Our next caller is Ed from Ithaca, New York. What's up, Ed?
Good afternoon, guys. I am completely puzzled. I have a Windows 10 laptop, and I clicked an play internet radio on a station's website, and now I can't turn it off.
Well, if it's Jazz 90.1, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some little website window somewhere that still has it. What browser are you using?
That was on Firefox.
Oh, I don't know. I know in Safari there's a little microphone icon or speaker icon in the tab that's showing playing
Yeah, I was
audio.
going to say, do you have multiple tabs opened?
Yeah, it's in some tab.
It's probably one of those tabs because you can click one to start, say, music or video, and then go click on another tab, and it still keeps playing that video or music.
Right. Well, I think I closed all those tabs.
You got
to related.
If you entirely close Firefox, does the music stop?
That I did not try.
Yeah, try that.
Okay.
That may be. It may be that. It also may be that it opened up a little baby web browser hidden behind your regular web browser.
Right, or maybe even minimized.
Right.
Well, when I click through the open windows, I don't see anything other than my standard stuff.
Yeah, because it's probably a tab in one of the windows, a second or third or 100th tab.
Right, or it could be a separate little browser window behind your normal browser window. So if you look at the taskbar across the bottom, you might see an extra button there that would bring up that window. Alternately, if you close Firefox, you may well find that there's still something.
Yeah, because he could have even clicked on multiple incidents of Firefox.
Sure.
And had one behind the other.
And it should show you a little speaker icon in the tab header
of the playing window.
Right, in Firefox 89 and later.
Okay, well, I just
But if you don't notice the tab.
It's still playing.
Did you actually quit Firefox with the quit command, or did you just close the windows?
I closed the windows using the little X at the top.
Right, that doesn't quit the program.
Aha.
It does on Windows.
Not always. If there's still one window
If
left.
there's still one playing, that's
yeah,
right.
There's probably.
Okay, click.
So wait, before you do anything else, across the bottom, the taskbar, what do you see?
Firefox. These are just standard things. Firefox folders.
No, I mean open programs. The button bar next to, not the icons. Oh yeah, it would be icons in Windows 10.
So when I hover over the Firefox, nothing opens.
Okay.
Then I got my folders. My
try Alt Tab to see what programs are running. Maybe it spawned it in Edge or IE.
Right.
They're not open.
Well, but
check
if
to be sure.
If you Alt Tab, it should show you all the open. Hold the Alt key down, hit Tab. It should show you all the open windows.
If I do what?
Alt, the Alt key.
Yep.
Hold that down and hit Tab.
Okay, Alt Tab.
And that will show you all the open windows. With the then you can click on a window to switch to it, but it should show you every window that's open.
If you keep holding the Alt key down.
I mean, I tried. You know, I have Revo Uninstaller open to see if it installed something, and I don't see anything there. I mean, I can just shut down the computer and restart it, but that's, you know, I was looking.
Is there anything in the
right-click on the volume speaker icon?
Right-click, okay.
And open Properties, and there's a way to see what application is using the audio at the moment.
Right.
Well, let me see. When I right-click on speaker, okay.
And then select Mixer.
I've got open sound settings, open volume mixer.
Yep.
Is that what I want, volume mixer?
Yeah. And that should show you what programs are using the sound mixer at the moment.
iTunes. Oh, maybe it's coming through iTunes.
Ah, yes. It may have launched an M3U stream and not an MP3 audio.
Right.
Aha.
In which case, it would be playing through whatever is your default M3U player, which in your case,
your streaming audio player, yeah, which is
Bingo.
iTunes.
Yep. When I click the pause play button, it stops.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
Okay.
So
now
the Jazz
how do I
Link
get it
has
to
two
stop
different things.
permanently?
Right.
It can play an MP3 directly from the web, or it will open an M3U in your streaming audio player.
Right.
So in iTunes, that's under the list of internet radio stations, basically, because it's playing it from the internet.
Radio, yeah.
So you can save that in the playlist if you want to get back to it later.
No thanks.
Or you can just play something else, and it will forget that one.
Okay, then that's what I will do. I'll play something else.
Right, but again, if you open up iTunes, you should be able to delete it or stop at any time.
Okay.
Yep.
Okie doke.
iTunes remembers the last thing you played.
Thank you so much for saving the day once again.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Bye.
Have fun. Yeah, that's the problem when something is playing in the background and you don't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, where's that music coming from? And that's what I Googled. Where's that music coming from?
Yeah, I sometimes have a lot of tabs open. A lot. Upwards of 20.
Yeah, I've got 20 tabs open. 10 are hung, and one is playing music I don't know where from.
Yeah, right. But you can look to see, as you said, you can look to see where the speaker icon is if it's audio, or the little red button is if it's video.
Right, in a tab. If
Right.
a web tab is playing audio or video, it will show you
Right.
that. But this was a completely different program.
Right. Son of a pup, did it again. I don't know what's going on here. All right, I'm afraid that we're going to have to go back and talk to Brian.
It's either too much coffee or not enough coffee.
Exactly. Brian from Gates again. What's up?
Well, it's been interesting in the last 45 minutes to 1 hour. I got my Chrome book down, and I put that in front of my Chrome box.
Right.
Well, the box is the one with the trouble. And
Right.
if I plug in the speakers, your feed for YouTube suddenly freezes at 119. It plays, and when it gets back up to 120, it stops, cycles back to 119, and buffers. So on my big machine, on the box machine, if the sound is plugged in, that's all I can see. If I unplug it, the show goes right on through. And the speakers both work. The speakers and the headphones both work on a Chromebook. So they're good.
So it might be something within your Chrome box.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I'm afraid.
That maybe during that power outage, something might have. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, sorry. It's really what you did good diagnosing it, but I'm afraid the response, the answer to that diagnosis, isn't good.
Yeah.
It starts with U, and then it has an R, and then there's a short word that starts with S. And then
Yeah.
No, it's an opportunity to purchase a new computer.
That's right.
Sorry, yeah. Good. You want to pay for it?
Yeah.
Great.
I ran into that in a training class this week, that positioning a no, you never say no.
Right.
It's an opportunity
right.
to replace your device.
I use that line when I call up to make a payment or something like that for utilities or whatever. Yeah. And, of course, the last question the worker always asks you, is there anything else I can do for you? I tell them, pay my bill.
Yep.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they always pause very much, and they say, no, we can't do that.
Right.
All right.
Well, then don't offer.
All right.
I got
exactly right.
Yeah, I got in that discussion with the RG&E, because I was going to have the automatic bill play.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to sit there and hit your account 4 days early.
Yes.
And I asked them, I says, so are you going to give me a discount? And they go,
no.
For what? Well, you're getting my money 4 days ahead of time.
Right.
And you getting interest on that. So what benefit do I get out of it? Well, that's just the way we do it. I go, yeah, then forget it.
Right.
Yeah, they always tell you to schedule your payment several days early to allow for processing delays. But they don't schedule the deadline several days later for processing delays.
No, exactly right.
All right, gentlemen.
Good luck.
All right, thank you, sir.
I'll be talking with you. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, it's hardware problems are hard because, like we've been saying, you don't have the spare parts, and particularly nowadays when it's a Chrome box or a Chromebook, there aren't that many spare parts in it.
And the thing of it is, though, is like he said, they had a brownout.
Right.
And that's why we've said, and we
had a power surge that's where the problems come in.
Yeah, they're just quick, and you might not even notice it. It might just flicker, but that's enough to toast some components inside a computer.
Especially if it happens several times. Every time it happens, it increases the chance of a problem a little bit more, and eventually it can die completely.
And there are 3 kinds of UPSs, and we'll talk about that when we come back. But right now, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and with you. It is 29 minutes after the hour. You're listening to the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes, right here on the truly great and truly grateful to you that we are member-supported Jazz 90.1. We'll see you on the other side.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brad Siegel. President Biden fell off his bike while riding near his vacation home in Delaware today. The Secret Service quickly swarmed the president, who told onlookers he was good and he was looking forward to spending the rest of the day with his family. The president said he had trouble taking his biking shoes out of the pedals when he stopped to greet some well-wishers. A CDC panel is expected to quickly sign off on COVID-19 shots for kids under 5. The panel is meeting this weekend to review the FDA's approval of both the Pfizer and Moderna shots for very young children. That would make the vaccines available for about 18 million children within a matter of days. President Biden hailed the FDA's decision as a huge relief for American families. A Philadelphia firefighter has died after being trapped in the rubble of a collapsed building. Local news reports say a building in the Fairhill neighborhood caught fire around 3 this morning. It was put under control, but firefighters who remained to put out hotspots were there when the building collapsed. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
Add year-round interest to your garden with Thin Man Indian Grass. This cultivar of a North American native is more drought-tolerant than its Midwest and East Coast counterparts. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. This selection of Indian grass was collected near Clovis, New Mexico, propagated, and selected as one of the 2017 Plant Select introductions. This brand of plants is designed to flourish in challenging conditions, providing more beauty with less work. Thin Man Indian Grass has a narrow upright growth habit, as the name implies. It grows about 72 inches tall and only 24 to 30 inches wide. The blue-green foliage adds interest throughout the growing season and is topped by golden bronze flowers in late summer. You'll enjoy watching the songbirds and other animals that come to feast on the seeds. Hardy in zones 4 to 9, this plant tolerates a wide range of soils. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Summit Responsible Solutions, a manufacturer of organic, all-natural insect pest control products, including Summit Year-Round Spray Oil. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil can be used on indoor and outdoor plants and is non-toxic to people, pets, birds, and other wildlife. Year-Round Spray Oil is available at local and national garden centers and hardware stores everywhere. Information on how to control insect pests can be found at summitresponsibleSolutions.com.
Here's another great reason to renew your Jazz 90.1 membership. The Jazz 90.1 member card and new mobile app. You'll automatically receive the card when you renew with a gift of $90.10 or more. You'll also be able to take advantage of tons of dining opportunities throughout the region, giving you 2-for-1 entrees or other savings at your favorite restaurants, and a great excuse to explore even more. Dine your way around town, all while supporting a station that nourishes your need for quality programming. Members supported Jazz 90.1. Why have another same old summer when you can have a same new summer? SAME stands for the Summer Advanced Manufacturing Experience, and it's a free program for high school students to gain experience in machining. Not just watching, but learning and working on professional mills, lathes, CNC equipment, and more. SAME runs weekdays this summer from July 11th through 29th at the Womoco Career and Technical Education Center in Spencerport and the Eastern Monroe Career Center in Perrinton. High school counselors can help you sign up, or you can call Womoco or EMCC for registration information.
And now your Jazz 90.1 weather.
Clouds will give way to some partial sunshine for today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes. A cool start to the weekend. The normal high is in the upper 70s. I'm projecting high temperatures today only in the mid-60s with a busy northwesterly breeze, which will effectively make it feel a lot cooler. Tonight brings a mainly clear sky, the overnight low temperature in the low 50s. For the holiday tomorrow, we'll look for a good supply of sunshine from hilltop to lakeshore. Goldilocks weather, not too hot, not too cold, just right, the high in the upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got 61 degrees out at the airport with clear skies and 67 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Howdy, folks. This is Dan Gross. You can listen to me Mondays 6 to 8 p.m. here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 34 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. When we left, I said I would talk a little bit about the types of UPSs. And so I'll give you the three types that they are.
I'm trying to find an article that talks about the types of UPSs, but not from a company that sells UPSs.
Well, exactly. That's the hard part.
Yeah,
and also does it in English rather than in engineer.
Yeah.
And there lies the challenge.
Right. So there are three basic types. Yes, there are 5 types. But
6, according to this article.
6, yeah. 6. But we'll talk about 3 of them. There's standby, line interactive, and online, also known as double conversion. So let's take them one at a time. A standby UPS, basically, it sits there running from the power from the wall plug, and that AC power. And if the AC power goes off, it switches to battery mode.
And this is usually the cheapest kind as well.
Those are the least expensive kind. They do provide a battery backup and a little bit of surge protection, but that's it.
And the fact that it has to switch from AC to battery, in that it might be virtually instantly, but that virtually instantly is where damage can occur.
Right, because there is a certain amount of time where there's no electricity. Line interactive provides conditioned power, which eliminates voltage fluctuations. The AC power goes through a voltage regulator, which corrects the highs and the lows, and switches to battery backup mode when a power failure is detected. That not only handles battery backup and surge protection, but also does some brownout protection. The big one, the one you really should have, is called online or online double conversion. And basically what that means is that it's like a laptop. Your computer is always running off the battery, and the battery is always being charged by the AC. So if there's a blackout, just as with a laptop, your computer doesn't even notice it.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't even hiccup.
Right, because it's always running off the battery. And it not only provides battery backup, but it provides surge protection. Believe me when I tell you that a battery can handle power surges way better than a surge protector. And it also, of course, handles brownout because, again, all that means is the battery isn't being charged as fast. You're still running off the battery. It also provides full-time power conditioning because, again, you're running off the battery.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no transfer time when switching from AC to battery because you're already on the battery.
Yep.
So it is the best kind to have, online or online double conversion or just double conversion is the best kind of battery to have. And that's the one everybody should be using. If you're just using a surge protector, which is what you're plugged into on
those
many
strips.
power bars,
Yeah, those strips.
that's great for surges, does nothing for brownouts, and does nothing for battery backup.
And surges are actually extremely uncommon. You
Right.
rarely get a surge.
But the thing of it is, though, which folks neglect, is once that does pop,
right,
throw it out. Yes, it will still let electricity through it, but as far as protecting your devices, and popping the electricity
fuse.
going into your devices, that's gone.
Right.
So you get another surge, it's going through there. Check it every so often. There's a trip switch. And if that's not working, throw the thing out and get a different one.
Right. There are some that have a switch where you can rethrow the fuse.
Yeah, a test. Yep.
That's okay. You can reset the fuse. But in general, of the 3 types, standby is the least expensive and does the least. There's a price. Line interactive is a little better because it handles brownout protection as well. But the one you really want is the online double conversion because it is essentially a laptop. It's always running from the battery, and the battery handles everything.
It's, again, price. Whatever you want to pay for to protection of your devices.
And the less expensive ones will give you like 5 minutes of power for the computer to shut down normally. In fact, most of them have a USB port that you plug into the computer.
Right.
It tells the computer, there's no power, you better shut down now, so it shuts down properly instead of just dying when the power goes off. The more expensive models will have longer run times. So if you need to run an hour on battery, then you might end up spending a couple $100.
And it will even email you if you're not home. You can set it up to have it email you to your phone and say, "Hey, your power went out and I'm shutting down."
Yep, we had our power taken out. The not this last windstorm, but the one before that, we had a whole bunch of tree limbs come down and they pulled down our power lines. They were still active, but they were lying in our pond. So,
oops.
Yeah, RG&E came out and turned off our power and re-put up the power lines. But, we knew that was coming, so we were able to shut everything down. But even so, it lasted less than 3 hours, and my power supply is rated for 3 hours. So I could have kept computing the whole time that was happening, because it's a double conversion power supply. So when the power went out, again, I had already shut everything down, but it would not have noticed it. It would not have been a problem, and I could have lasted for almost exactly the amount of time that the power was out. Keep working. So if you're going to get, let me put it this way. You should have a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. And the kind you really should have is the double inline conversion.
And you may want to put your network router and internet router on them, so your internet keeps working if your power is out.
Right, because if it's the neighborhood, it's all done anyway. But if it's your house, as it was in this case for me, because I had all that stuff plugged in, I was still fine. Everything was in the UPS, so that worked out. And in fact, I even had my phone brick ready to move over to that if I needed to. I could turn off everything else and have about 100,000 hours of power for my phone if I needed it.
And still get to the internet.
Exactly. So be aware that the least expensive power UPSs, uninterruptible power supplies, are useful, but not as useful as the second most, and nowhere near as good as the more expensive ones. The online double conversion power supply.
Yeah, because even if you kept your internet going and only used your Chromebook, Chromebook's good for hours.
10 hours.
Off the, not even on the hooked up to that. It can run off a battery for 10 hours. So as long as you got your internet through the wireless setup, you're good until.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right, one more. This is actually a pretty cool one. Two things saw explosive growth in the midst of the COVID-19 panic. Well, three things if you count my stomach. But Chromebooks and Zoom. Now the video calling app, actually I lost 80 pounds. I've lost 80 pounds. Thank you very much. Now the video calling app is shutting down its previous Chromebook app to make way for something better. A notice currently appearing in the Zoom app for Chromebooks, which notifies users that the app is being shut down on August of 2022. It says this app will no longer be officially supported after August 2022. Please use the new Zoom for Chrome PWA to join meetings on Chrome OS. The old app has been available for 7 years and provided simple access to Zoom meetings, but without any additional functionality. It's severely limited when it comes to most features and hasn't seen a notable update in quite some time. Why is the Zoom app shutting down? In part because it's built on aging technology. The older app is a traditional Chrome app which hasn't been particularly relevant for a few years now. Most notably, Google announced in August of 2020 that it would phase out Chrome apps on all platforms. For Windows, Mac, and Linux, support ended in June of 2021. As of this month, Google is pulling the plug on Chrome apps on Chrome OS too, with new apps no longer being accepted and all existing apps becoming private and unlisted in the Google Chrome store. With that in mind, it makes sense that Zoom would end official support for its app. But as further motivation, Zoom debuted a PWA, Progressive Web App for Chromebooks, back in 2021, which has seen several major updates over the last year. The Zoom for Chrome PWA is a better equipped version of what the original app was, and one that acts more like what Zoom offered on Windows and Mac OS. The more full-featured app has a familiar UI alongside more advanced features, including background blur. Even when we took an early look at the app when it launched, people were all generally pretty happy with the improvements that it brought. But Zoom for Chrome PWA didn't come without some hiccups, some that hurt existing users of the Chromebook app, but mostly it's gotten a lot better. Zoom has made improvements over time to the point where the PWA is now an excellent experience. If you're still using the traditional Zoom app for Chromebooks, it doesn't sound like it will just stop working immediately, but its time certainly is limited. Eventually, we'll expect the app will just cease to work. So just delete it from your machine, and Google, your Chromebook will then automatically start using the Zoom PWA. So do you use Zoom on a Chromebook? Nothing to worry about. But you can give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299, toll free, 1-800-790-0415.
Yeah, this doesn't mean that Zoom is going to stop working on your Chromebook. It just means it's a different app coming.
Yep.
We had a panicked call a few months ago when news broke of this again. I mean, what do you mean Zoom is stopping for Chrome? I use it all the time. Yeah, the app is closing and the PWA is opening, and
Right. The PWA is way better, a lot more features, a lot more capabilities, easier to use, much better all the way around.
Delete the one you've got now and reinstall the new one.
Right.
Which
I think the new one runs automatically.
Right. If Zoom was a little bit better, they would update the old app to say, here's how to get the new app, and I'm going to delete myself.
Yeah, that would be best. All right, to the phones. Our next caller is Pat from Batavia, New York. What's up, Pat? Pat? Talk to us, Pat. Hello? Pat? You there, Pat?
You're not looking for Dave, are you?
Are we looking for Dave?
No, we were looking.
Who's this?
Dave is online.
Okay, Dave, where are you calling from?
Rochester.
Okay, what's up, Dave?
Okay, quick question for Steve. Hey, I made a mistake here. I have a couple of Mac intensive kind of programs that I run. And I thought that it would be great to buy that Studio Mac. Yeah. But I bought it with a 512 gigabyte hard drive or SSD drive, and find out that I have nowhere near enough room to get my files onto that. So the question is, could I possibly set the computer up to run on an external drive and use the migration assistant to move the files to that external drive?
Yes. I'm running through how to do that. So you have to install the OS on the external drive and then use migration assistant. It'd be much easier just to plug the external drive in and clone the internal drive to the external. But internal drives will run significantly faster than external drives, even if you get a Thunderbolt drive. So what would be better recommended is move your data file to the external drive and leave the OS on the internal drive.
Okay. But how do I do that from? How can I do that from the backup on the migration assistant?
You don't. You use disk utility to copy everything from one drive to another drive.
Okay.
Or what you would do is put the external drive on, download the installer, the OS installer, install the data onto the external drive, then boot the external drive, and then use the migration assistant on the external drive to copy from the internal drive. So use disk utility to copy everything in one shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Copy it from the
internal drive to the external drive. Yeah.
Can I copy it from the Time Machine drive or not?
No.
Okay.
Because you could use Time Machine to restore to the external drive, but it would still be faster to use disk copy to do a complete disk copy rather than restoring file by file.
Okay.
Because disk utility can do a block copy, which is faster than a file copy.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
you're
Dave.
welcome. How do you like the Mac Studio? now that the M2 is out.
Yeah, right.
So the M1 Pro, M1 Max, and M1 Ultra are still faster than the M2 until the M2 Pro and M2 Max and M2 Ultra come out. That's the problem that Intel had in their you can get i5 chip. Great. Is it a low-end i5 or a high-end i5?
Yeah, right.
Because the i5 is not enough to know.
Right. All right, back to the phones. Now we're going to talk to Pat from Batavia. What's up, Pat?
It was the phone system.
It was the phone
Well,
system.
I gotta tell you, it was really funny. The phone kept ringing on my end, and I have I usually will listen on the radio until I get the message, right?
And
You still there?
Yeah, you were probably there
Anyway,
saying,
I
I'm
hear
here, I'm
you.
here.
Yeah, I hear you guys saying, hey, where's Pat? And I go, I'm here. And then I thought, what am I supposed to do here? So I hung up and called back. Anyway, my question is, I have a Chromebook, and I had a Bluetooth headset hooked up to it. Worked really fine. And then a couple days ago, every time I tried to hook it up, it wouldn't work. So I looked up the suggestions on how to solve that problem, and it said, remove the device and reconnect, right? So I go to do this, add a device, and it says, no device found. And, of course, like I talking to the telephone, talking to you on the YouTube channel, I said, but it's right here. I'm holding it right here.
Right.
I hold it right up, and it doesn't see it. So then I thought, maybe my device is bad. So I went to my desktop, hooked it up, fine. I hooked up on my cell phone, too. So it's like Chromebook now doesn't like it's called Touchbone. It's one of those ones that your ear goes alongside your holes in your head.
What I might suggest is resetting the Bluetooth on your Chromebook.
Okay, I don't know. I turned it off, and I removed the device. I don't know what else do you do to reset Bluetooth?
Well, then you got to place your Bluetooth device in pairing mode.
Okay, I did that.
You did that.
Yeah.
And it still didn't work.
What I didn't tell you was what it was doing. The symptom that was so annoying is there's a section where you click on, to connect, and it would say connect. And then I would hit play on a video, and just about the time I did that, it would say disconnecting. So it would go through this like, okay, I'll hear you. Okay, we're connected. Oh, never mind, I hung up. Which is why I said, okay, this isn't working. But then what's weird is after I removed the device, turned Bluetooth off, turned it back on, and then tried to reconnect the device, it doesn't even recognize it. It says no device nearby.
But it works with your desktop.
Yeah,
your
so
laptop.
I checked two other things. Then I thought maybe I started getting superstitious. Okay, maybe I'll move maybe my cell phone is too close to my laptop, and if I move them farther away, it won't, get confused about what was on it. And then, of course, I was going to turn off the Bluetooth. I turned everything off I could think of, but it still would not work. And the clincher, of course, was when it wouldn't recognize it today. So I didn't understand when you said reset other than turn Bluetooth off and on. Is there another reset on Chromebook I could do?
Well, resetting. I meant reset the Bluetooth on the headphones to repair them.
Oh yeah, I turned it off. Left it off for a minute, turned it back on, and it started blinking blue, red, blue, red, blue, red.
Right.
And nothing. Now, I can obviously just use another headset on my Chromebook. This is not it's not like I have a deadly problem. It's just an annoying problem.
No, I get that. I do. And your Chromebook is up to date.
Yeah. In fact, they just said it did its last update because
interesting.
It's reached its expiration time.
Sure.
So,
time to get a new one.
Well, yeah, it's going to start crapping all over me saying, you got to buy a new one. We're going to disconnect all your devices.
It's not quite going to be that bad.
How many other Bluetooth devices do you have paired? Maybe disconnect all of them and bring back just this one.
If you go into settings and look at Bluetooth, what do you see?
Yeah. Every device can only hook to so many Bluetooth devices.
Yeah,
and
I think
some devices may take 2 or 3 slots. So like if you had a headset, it could be 3 slots, one for the mic, one for the left speaker, one for the right speaker.
I think there's one other one, and I don't even recognize what it is. So it's very easy for me just to go in.
Delete them all.
After I get off the call and delete everything. But short of doing that, at one time I had 2 of them. The one I don't know what it is, and this Touchbone. and so I would pick the touch bone, and it connected right up. But anyway, yeah, like any computer thing, I'll hold. If you say just you got to hold the computer over your head for 10 seconds and then do something, I'll go, what the hell?
Sure, why not?
Can't hurt, right? No, seriously, I'll go back and it's in the other room, right? I don't want to hold you up on the phone to do that, but I'll
Right.
make sure I disconnect everything that's showing up there and just try reconnecting.
And if that doesn't work, disable Bluetooth, restart your laptop, and then enable Bluetooth again.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll call you next week and say it didn't. Tell you what happened.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Say it didn't work.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Or tomorrow night. Don't forget. No, not tomorrow night, because tomorrow's Father's Day. We're not having a Zoom
Mastermind Lounge.
Mastermind Lounge video chat tomorrow night. We will not have one. Normally every Sunday
I've
night.
never done that. I should check it out sometime.
You should, but not this week. Most every Sunday night we meet in Mastermind Lounge. You can go to soundbytes.org/lounge and get the link. It's only available between 9 and 10 p.m. because that's when we're on. But you're welcome to join us and ask computer questions. Just join in the mayhem that normally goes on. But we're not doing it this week because it's Father's Day. And so we will be foregoing the joy of seeing each other virtually for that. And we got just a couple of minutes left, so we should probably talk to James from Rochester, New York. What's up, James?
Yes, I have a quick general question for you. I have 2 laptops, and when on the bottom right-hand, when the little yellow dot shows up and it says you need to restart your computer to install updates.
Right.
Why is one of them does that and the other one is okay? Don't they all do it at the same time?
No. What happens is Microsoft rolls out the updates across millions and millions of machines. So they don't all go in sync, which would be a huge drain on Microsoft's network. So they do them in sections, and your 2 laptops are in 2 different sections.
Oh, that's the reason.
Yeah.
And it may be different enough hardware that it's a different update that's happening.
Yeah, because one time one did it, and obviously they don't, like you just said, they don't do them at the same time.
Right.
The other one never updated, so maybe it didn't need it. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, you can go into Windows Update manually and say, go look for updates right now, and it will go find them and do it.
No, I wait for the little dot to show up.
Yeah, wait for that. That's probably just as good one way or the other.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, James.
We should mention Never 11. So back when Windows 10 came out and Microsoft forced it on everyone, Steve Gibson wrote a program called Never 10 that would stop Windows 10 from installing. Even if you kept saying no, it would install anyway. Microsoft never learns. Windows 11 is doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he is working on Never 11 so that it will stop Windows 11 from installing too.
Right.
Especially on machines where it doesn't work. It's almost a crapshoot that today Windows 11 won't work on your machine, but tomorrow Microsoft might say it does and install it for you without you wanting it.
Right. And if it doesn't work, that's your fault.
Yeah.
And your problem.
Yeah.
All right, that music tells us we are done for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray. I'm Nick Francesco, but mostly I want to thank all of you who called in. What a joy it is. We've got 33 votes in the poll. I'd love to see that go up higher. Please vote in the poll and let us know what you think about that. And we are done for this week, but ho-ho, we will be back next week with a whole lot more of the longest running computer show in the known universe. That's right, Soundbytes, right here on the truly great and truly grateful to you that we are member supported Jazz 90.1. We'll see you in just 166 hours. Be good to one another, will you?
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
Camping is one of the best and most affordable family vacations. Camping immerses you in the peace and tranquility of nature. Here in New York, state parks with campgrounds abound from glittering Lake George to thundering Niagara Falls. As night blankets the landscape, you'll see millions of stars shine over the Adirondack backcountry, smell the campfire on the shores of the Finger Lakes, and many more campsite moments.